Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kristie with AGtakesover. This is the second of two videos that I'm making about storing your American Girl dolls and their things. So the first one shared some resources and questions that you can use to try to figure out what approach would work best for you. Now I'm going to answer those same questions for myself and describe what I've been doing and why it works for me. If you haven't watched the first video, make sure to check it out. If you like this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos, etc. All right, let's get started. According to a quiz that I took on the Family Handyman website, my organization style is the practical organizer. So it says I'm motivated to organize to make my daily life more efficient. Definitely. Out of sight means out of mind, so visibility and accessibility are important to me. Definitely. I'm not the laziest organizer, but I'm not the most proactive one either, so I will never win any cover of Better Homes and Gardens magazine, but I keep things manageable. Who is my space for? 2 adult collectors who enjoy dressing our dolls. We like to create displays that we can see throughout the day. We photograph them regularly. And we also have a toddler who loves dolls, and she has a few of her own that she can play with as toddlers do, but when she plays with ours, she definitely needs supervision. How much stuff do I have? A lot. We technically have 3 doll houses. We have around 70 dolls, a lot of clothing and accessories, and several of the larger items like Blair's Restaurant and Grace's Bakery. How much space do I have? A fair amount, fortunately. We have an unfinished basement. We have a small bedroom that doubles as my remote workspace and the doll room. There's a closet in that room. We have a large set of built-in shelves in the laundry room and some space in our living room. What is the plan for my doll collection? We do see it growing. Yeah, we do. Not a ton, and not really adding existing or retired dolls, but future releases and CYOs are definitely possibilities. And if we like future big ticket items, we probably will add them. Does my storage need to be mobile? Not on wheels or anything in my case, but we do have some things stored in a few different places and we rotate out some things. So it is important to not store them in huge tubs that would get too heavy to be moved easily. Do I need everything in one room? Nope. In fact, we intentionally don't have everything in one room. The doll room is pretty small, so we keep almost all of the larger items in the basement and out of reach of the toddler. Once a month, I go down and pick up one thing from the basement, like Mary Ellen's Bakery, and I take something down, like the bowling alley or that Christmas tree farm I recently made. Anyway, it keeps the small room from feeling too cluttered, but allows us to still have as many big ticket items as we do. Also, I see no reason why the seasonal stuff should take up space in that tiny room year round. So I will gladly schlep the Christmas and Halloween and Easter dollhouse decor up from the basement for the season, and that's it. They live elsewhere for the rest of the year. Do I need an inventory? I do. We have one inventory for the items that we're selling. That's just in a Google spreadsheet because it changes frequently as we decide to part with things. For the stuff that we have in longer term storage, which is mainly Welly Wisher items that we have gotten for my daughter and will give her later, I use larger storage totes. I keep that in the basement, and I use the Tote Scan app. This is not a paid promo for Tote Scan, but just a short explanation of the app because I really like it. It's free. You buy stickers with QR codes on them from Amazon. You can enter photos and descriptions and locations for any box or tote that you slap a sticker on. It's a pain to do up front. It is tedious and not fun, but once it's done, it's super easy to use, and I'm a big fan. Aside from organization needs, what are my priorities? In part 1 of this topic, I mentioned you might want to consider whether cost or environmental impact or aesthetics is more important to you. And when I really thought through this question, I realized I don't have other priorities. Maybe that's the quintessential practical organizer in me, but honestly, my driving needs are whatever approach I choose needs to be flexible and accessible. Everything else is secondary for me. So those are my answers to the questions that I posed in the first video. And to keep this from getting too long, I'm going to focus on how we store things and organize them in the actual doll room. The room is only about 10 by 13, and it also has to house my desk and equipment for work. There's an 8-foot long, 1-story dollhouse in there as well, so it doesn't leave a ton of space. Using the wall space is critical. One of the ways that I did that was by drilling holes into these boards and inserted cut dowel rods in them. I made 2 of these doll hangers, and together they hold 10 dolls, 5 each. I also made 2 long shelves like this. I got the pipe elbow brackets from Amazon. These were super easy to make, and they hold up to 14 dolls. For a lot of doll accessories and for clothing that doesn't really form a complete outfit, I tend to use clear totes. I mostly get these from Target. I label them with painter's tape and a Sharpie because as a certain category grows and doesn't fit in its container and I upsize it, I need to be able to move those labels easily too. You probably can't see them well, but they say things like shirts, pillows and satin bonnets, sleepover items, hats, undies, socks and tights, hair, school supplies, caring for baby, etc. 95% of the time, the containers are clear because that helps me know how full a bin is getting, and also I'm more likely to use what I can see and easily access. Here's my approach to shoe storage. I freaking love these shelves so much. They're from Target, and I've seen them carried there twice so far, in the bullseye section. They are not currently available, boo. But if you see them, don't hesitate. Buy them that instant. They do not last long. The shelves are adjustable, and as you can see, they're a perfect fit for American Girl doll shoes. And we have a lot of doll shoes. A lot. Having open, visible access to them, but still feeling like they're organized makes a huge difference to me because I change the dolls' clothes frequently, and it would be super frustrating for me if they weren't organized and accessible. Clothing that does form an outfit is generally stored in the doll room closet. I bought 3 dowel rods initially, drilled holes in them in the middle and on each end, and then I tied pieces of twine to the metal shelf near the top of the closet. The 3 pieces of twine go down, pass through the holes in the first dowel, then I tied knots under that. Did the same thing with the second and the third dowels, and that gave me 4 rows to hang 4 times as many clothes. So my dowel rod solution actually worked up until just a week ago. I still think that this option is a good, very affordable option. But what happened was the twine, after having hangers rub up against it for months and months and months, wore out on one end. And so we almost had a disaster. We almost had a wardrobe situation with all of the clothes falling off. They didn't, but it definitely made me realize it was time for an upgrade. So the cheapest upgrade would have been a little bit heavier, thicker dowel rods. I didn't want to do that because you run the risk of the hangers not fitting on them, or dowel rods made out of a stronger wood would have worked. Same size, same diameter, but stronger material so that they don't bow over time, and better material than twine, which hindsight 2020, I should have figured that one out from the get-go. But I happen to have a Lowe's gift card, so I decided to go a little bit more upscale solution and got some metal shelving, just like the metal shelving that was originally on the top. So here was my upgrade. So this is currently loosely but not obsessively organized. It's mostly Etsy outfits and items on the top row, American Girl spring and summery kind of clothing on the second row. Next is American Girl brand fall and winter things. And on the bottom down here are predominantly historical, Girl of the Year, and a little bit of winter overflow. The shoes that I showed you before. And then up here, really the only thing that's noteworthy is that tub that holds all the hats that are larger and I don't want to have get squished. And of course, more shoes. I mentioned earlier that I removed the doors, the kind of bifold doors, and put this on here. It just takes up less space when we need to open things. We also have about 8 or so dolls that don't have wigs glued down. And they have their kind of go-to wigs or their primary wigs that are part of their personality, but we left their wigs unglued so we can switch them out when we want to. And so far, what's working best for me is this shoe organizer that hangs on the back of the door. So minus the wig storage and the closet, which are behind me when I take this picture, this is a pretty good representation of our tiny doll room. There's a lot stored in it, but it doesn't feel overwhelming and it doesn't feel cluttered, and pretty much everything has its place. I would love to know what you think of my storage approach. Also, what works for you? What is your biggest organizational challenge or struggle? Please be sure to share any of that in the comments. Again, if you haven't done so, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.